It had been 9 years since I first held my son, Oliver, in my arms, believing I was the luckiest man alive. A career at a prominent Portland bank, a beautiful wife, and a boy who brought light into every corner of my life. My name is Neil Maddox, 43, and until recently I thought I had it all figured out. Our home in the leafy suburb of Beaverton had been perfect. 2-story colonial, crisp white picket fence, and a backyard Oliver and I turned into a weekend playground. Belle, my wife, insisted on the manicured lawn, saying it reflected well on both our careers. Every Saturday I'd push the mower, trim the hedges, and perfect the flower beds. Oliver was 9 years old and pure joy incarnate. Every afternoon I'd walk through the front door, and there he was, running to me, gap-toothed grin shining, hands clutching some new drawing or story from school. Our routines were sacred. Saturday pancakes, backyard baseball, bedtime stories full of dragons and daring knights. Life was orderly, predictable, comforting. Until that morning. It started like any other. Coffee brewing, the sun streaming through the kitchen window. I held my favorite mug, painted by Oliver at camp. "World's best dad," scrawled in crooked letters. Belle hummed in the kitchen, auburn hair catching the light. "Honey, did you move any papers from my desk?" she asked, voice tight, unfamiliar. I shook my head. "No." "Why?" She rifled through a stack of mail with agitation, and that's when I saw it. A white envelope, partially hidden behind the coffee maker. Precision Genetics Laboratory. My chest sank. I held it up. "Is this what you're looking for?" Belle's face drained of color. Her hand trembled. "It's nothing, Neil. Just a routine test my doctor ordered." I tore open the envelope. DNA test results. Probability of paternity, 0%. My world tilted. 9 years of fatherhood, love, bedtime stories. All a lie, or at least a deception I had been kept in. Belle's voice trembled. "Neil, I suspected, but I wasn't sure. Until recently." "Until recently," I snapped, waving the paper. "Who is the father?" Her eyes crumpled. "Milton. Milton Rohr. Milton Rohr." I knew him. A cocky advertising executive from her old firm. Divorced, flashy. And now, the reality sank in. I had loved and raised a child that wasn't mine, believing otherwise. Every Saturday pancake, every baseball game, every bedtime story felt tainted. And yet, biology aside, Oliver was mine in every meaningful way. The thought didn't soothe the betrayal, it ignited it. I spent that day in turmoil, staring at our family photo on the mantel. Oliver's bright eyes, his infectious smile. Innocent. Unaware of the storm. Had to think. Call a lawyer, understand my rights, plan my next steps carefully. I hired Mike Brennan, a longtime friend and attorney. "Neil, legally you have parental rights. But Milton, as the biological father, can challenge custody," he warned. My chest tightened. Biological claim versus psychological fatherhood. This was no longer just a moral dilemma. Days blurred. Milton began showing interest, sending Belle messages, wanting to meet Oliver. Rage consumed me. While I had been building Oliver's college fund, preparing for his future, another man had his fingerprints in what I believed was my life. Using my banking connections, I discovered Milton's financial situation. Unstable, desperate for a bridge loan for his struggling firm. I confronted him in his sleek downtown office. His charm faltered as I reviewed the terms with deliberate slowness. "Your company requests a $2 million loan." Yes. "How do you justify this after betraying the family you interfered with?" Milton's color drained. I didn't know she was married." "Excuses don't undo 9 years of deception," I cut him off. "Loan denied. Reputation intact for him. Destroyed. My revenge wasn't about malice. It was strategy. Justice. Custody hearings followed. Milton fought for joint custody, citing biology. The judge granted supervised visitation, with a path toward extended time. I was left holding on to what mattered. My bond with Oliver. Every other weekend, I watched the boy I raised navigate a world shared with a stranger pretending to be his father. Months later, I vanished from Portland, adopting a quiet life under a different identity, haunted but planning my return. Belle eventually found me, older, grayer, regret in every line of her face. She revealed the truth. Milton had bribed a lab technician. The original paternity test had been falsified. Oliver was mine all along. The relief and rage collided. 5 years of absence, of believing I had lost my son, stolen by a lie. But now the path forward was clear. I returned to Maple Grove. Oliver, now 14, ran to me on the front porch, arms wide, and in that embrace, time rewound. Belle and I began counseling, repairing what could be salvaged, focusing on honesty. Milton was a footnote in the history of our lives, a cautionary tale of deceit and hubris. The white picket fence was repainted, the yard restored, and each evening, Oliver ran to greet me with that familiar grin. 5 lost years couldn't be reclaimed, but what mattered now was the future, the life we could still build. Sometimes the greatest victories aren't avoiding battle, they're surviving it and finding your way back home. If you've ever faced betrayal or felt the world crumble beneath you, remember, truth and perseverance can rebuild even the deepest wounds. Share your story, protect what matters, and never let lies define your life.